Welcome to the Bluffton News. I'm Anneliza Itkor. Tonight we'll be discussing the latest news. We'll take a look at what's going on in Bluffton business and entertainment, and we'll hear from this week's newsmakers. This week, Beaufort County Administrator Gary Kubic will give us a heads up on the upcoming 2013 reassessment, and Shellie West Hodges has an exciting announcement that is exclusive to WHHI. But let's start things off with Bluffton's current headlines. A new rural medical facility is a step closer to reality after Beaufort Jasper Hampton Comprehensive Health Services officials broke ground Friday on a $6.25 million project. The organization had been working out of the Chelsea Clinic since 1971. Funding for a replacement facility was secured through the Federal American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. The new building will expand the facility to 24,875 square feet. There will be 18 medical examination rooms, 5 dental procedure rooms, and home health workspace will increase to 850 square feet. The Chelsea Clinic and its replacement are on 6.1 acres donated by philanthropist Ruth P. Field, the building's namesake. Marketing and business students at Bluffton High School took several top spots in the DECA State Career Development Conference in Charleston. They took marketing or business-related tests and worked through hypothetical business situations. Their performances were scored by volunteer business people. 5 students were named state award winners for placing in the top 5 in their events. Nichelle Simpson, first place in apparel and accessories marketing. Meg Tilton, second place in business services marketing. Frank Ferrato and Laura Herring, third place in travel and tourism marketing management. And Landon House, fifth place in sports and entertainment marketing. All except House will go on to the international competition happening this April in Salt Lake City. Delinquent taxpayers could face additional costs on real estate and personal property accounts if they're not current by March 17th. If taxes remain unpaid, a $75 fee is imposed as of April 1st. The money is used to help pay the cost of collecting delinquent taxes. All properties that are not current by August 31st are subject to the properties being advertised and sold at the annual delinquent tax sale, which is held the first Monday in October. With the Wharf Street redevelopment project on schedule, the next step will be qualifying future residents for home loans. The Wharf Street redevelopment is a $1 million grant-funded project that has constructed 6 cottage-style homes in Old Town. The houses are on about half an acre at the intersection of Robertson Street in Old Town. The green homes range in size from 330 square feet to 1,551 square feet, and the greenery recently donated about $25,000 of labor and materials to landscape the project. The houses will be available for sale to families who meet all eligibility requirements and with household incomes less than 80% of the Beaufort County median income. An 87-year-old Bluffton man was identified Saturday as the person killed in a fatal collision Friday on US 278. Carlo Gagliardi, known to his neighbors as Charlie, was the driver of a Nissan Maxima that veered into oncoming traffic at about 7 a.m. near the intersection of Buckwalter Parkway. Authorities said Gagliardi lost control of the sedan, crossed the median into eastbound traffic, and struck a utility truck, causing extensive damage to both vehicles. Gagliardi was pronounced dead at the scene, while the driver and passenger of the utility truck were taken to Coastal Carolina Hospital and treated for minor injuries. 2 men, aged 53 and 67, were charged with cocaine possession Thursday at a Hardeeville car wash. The arrests followed a 2-month investigation by the Beaufort Jasper Multi-Agency Drug Task Force of 53-year-old Alphonza M. Ulmer. The task force found Ulmer with crack cocaine at his business, Omega Car Wash, at 494 Church Street. Investigators also learned Ulmer had just sold crack to Esau James, 67, also of Hardeeville. James was found on the property and charged with possession of cocaine. In all, authorities seized more than 74 grams of crack and 30 grams of powder cocaine, $2,811 in cash, 10 guns, and a 1997 Chevrolet 1500 from Ulmer's business and residence. Ulmer was charged with 2 counts of trafficking crack cocaine, 1 count of trafficking powder cocaine, possession with intent to distribute cocaine, sale and distribution of crack cocaine, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a violent crime. Coming up, BJ Frazier of the Bluffton Sun will bring us up to date on the proposed Hardeeville Casino, and will give you a preview of some changes you'll see in your cable bill in the near future. Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Joining me now is BJ Frazier of the Bluffton Sun. BJ, I know that support has been growing in regards to the proposed casino in Hardeeville. Can you tell us a little bit about what's new with this controversial topic?
Well, as you know, the rendering came out last week, and it's a very exciting project. You're going to have a full-scale casino, a 400-room hotel, a 40 shopping and dining center, and of course a conference center. And the pros are, of course, you're going to have 2,200 what they say are high-paying jobs of at least $41,000, an average of $41,000 each per year. That brings $92 million worth of payroll into the county. Then, of course, you're going to have the sorely needed tax revenue. And of course, you're going to have the construction jobs and revenue while it's going on, and they say increased tourism. The cons might be the environmental impact. What is the impact going to be on the environment with a development this large? The infrastructure cost, who's going to pay for that? If the roads need widening up on 278, increased crime. People are saying that sometimes the casinos bring increased crime. And of course, the mortality of gambling, morality of gambling. Is this a good thing to happen to our community? And then will tourism increase? Some people say that the casinos bring people in on buses and they go right home. So a number of pros and cons to be looked at before we go ahead with the project.
Well, at the moment, I understand that Governor Haley is really not in favor of bringing gambling into South Carolina. What all needs to be done in order for this project to succeed?
Well, they're going to have to bring a proposal to the governor to prove their positive impact that they're going to have on the state, and that will be done by the end of the year. And assuming that that is approved at some point, then it has to go before the Bureau of Interior Affairs for the Indians, and that is a process that could take about 12 to 18 months. And then there's a big question, will what happens in Hardeeville stay in Hardeeville? You know, that's always a concern.
Of course. Now, a lot of us here at WHHI know that there's been some changes in the channel lineup on Hargray, right? But from what I understand, there have also been some fee increases. Can you give us some details on that?
Yeah, these are what's called pass-along fees that Hargray receives from their distributors and networks and so forth. And, there's really not much they can do. It's going to be an increase in April of $5 to $7 per resident. And again, will these fees go away? Possibly if they change the law. But right now, Hargray is passing these along to the residential customers, and they'll probably stick, so we just have to get used to it.
All right. Well, thanks, BJ. Lynne Hummell is waiting on deck to tell us the latest in Bluffton spring sports, as well as news on some cutting-edge art right after these messages. Welcome back. With daylight savings time beginning on the 11th, spring is not far behind, and the Bluffton sports scene is already heating up. Lynne Hummell from the Bluffton Sun is going to bring us up to speed. Lynne, tell us what Bluffton is offering this spring in sports.
Thank you, Anneliza. Well, as we know, Bluffton High School Bobcats had an incredible football season that ended with them going to the state championships. And then the basketball team finished a great season as well with a record 19 wins. So now the Bobcats are ready for some baseball and softball. The season opened for both sports on Monday, and they're playing away and at home. You can catch the Bobcat baseball team on Wednesday at 7 against Ashley Ridge, and again on Saturday at home at 3 p.m. The Lady Bobcats, the softball team, will be back home Tuesday against Ashley Ridge, and Wednesday at 6 against Thomas Hayward. Also, Bobcats lacrosse is gaining in popularity. Their season started in February, so they're about mid-season now. But you can still catch the girls' varsity team on Tuesday versus Bishop England at 6, and the boys' varsity Tuesday at 7 versus Academic Magnet. There's also a low country tournament that starts Friday at 5 at Bobcat Stadium. And you can get all of their sports schedules on the district website at blh.beaufort.k12.sc.us.
All right, well, go Bobcats. And, I'm a bit of a softball fan myself, playing the sport. And softball has always been kind of a Bluffton favorite. I understand that this is the inaugural season for USCB softball. How are the Sand Sharks doing?
Wow, they started their season with a bang. With their first ever season at USCB. Freshman pitcher Christy Cook pitched a no-hitter in the first game, and then in the second game, sophomore Rebecca Hurdy blasted a grand slam, and they won that series 16-0 and 21-1. And right now their record is 11-1. They were playing in the smash hit tournament this weekend, but part of it got rained out, of course. But the tournament does continue Friday at the Richard Gray Sports Complex at the USCB Gateway campus out in Hardeeville.
Well, the rain put a damper on a lot of things, but I love hearing that they're doing so well. Now, before the break, I mentioned that sort of the cutting edge of art has come to Bluffton. Lynne, what's this about a carving station on May River Road?
It's not exactly what people might think when they hear a carving station. This is not something you'd find at a banquet. But this is a new artist in town, Leroy Davis, who is a newcomer. He's carving creatures out of tree stumps, and he's using his chainsaw and then finer and finer carving tools. He's set up at Rosedew Nursery on May River Road, and you can watch him as you pass down the road. He's creating sea turtles and eagles and bears out of red cedar, cherry, and pine trees. And they're easily visible, as I said. And on Saturday, he's having a $100 sale, so you might get yourself a solid bargain.
Ooh, well, where can folks see his work?
Pretty much anytime on the site there at Rosedew Nursery. And like many artists, you can find him by chance or by appointment.
Well, I will definitely keep my eyes open for the guy with the chainsaw, Lynne. When we return, Gary Kubic will tell us what we need to know about the 2013 reassessment that's heading our way this July. Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Tonight, Gary Kubic, Beaufort County Administrator, joins us to remind us about the 2013 reassessment that's looming on the horizon. Gary, what's the purpose of this reassessment?
South Carolina requires that all property in all of our counties go through a property value assessment at least once every 5 years. Beaufort County is preparing to do this reassessment, which will establish property value that will be used to calculate a mill value, and it will be effective July 1, 2013, approximately 16 months from now.
Well, of course, mills are used to calculate our property taxes. How does the reassessment impact mill values?
Well, the reassessment process here in Beaufort County involves 120,000 parcels, and if you can imagine that the value is established and stays fixed for a 5-year period, if we just go back a few years, the economy was completely different when the assessment went through 5 years ago. The decline that has occurred is of interest with every taxpayer, both commercial and residential, because if you had a piece of property that was worth $300,000, it may have fallen to $200,000. The devaluation then impacts the ability to generate tax revenue for one mill. By way of example, one mill based on last reassessment for Beaufort County generates about $1,700,000. If hypothetically this new assessment process devalues our overall property, the mill value may drop to 1.6 for one mill. That's rather significant, even though the change is only $100,000. When you think of 90 mills for the school system or 40 mills for the county operations, 40 mills times a loss of 100,000 means that our general fund budget will be cut or by $4 million.
Wow, that's significant.
So what's at issue now for council is when property was appreciating, you had the technique which we called a rollback, which meant that the counties or any municipality or fire district could not gain from the increased growth. You rolled it back so that your revenue generation prior is exactly the same after the new evaluation. Now the issue is, will we roll forward since we're dropping, which may mean that taxpayers may be required to look at an increase in order to generate the same amount of revenue. What's even more substantial is that the expectation of a devaluation south of the Broad here in Beaufort County appears by our models to be greater than north of the Broad. So if you had two properties, north and south, each at $1 5 years ago, south goes to 50 cents, the north only drops to 75. It'll be the first time in a great while where the greater share of taxes generated will be by those living in the north.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Thanks so much for joining us, Gary.
You're truly welcome. Thank you very much.
Coming up, our very own Shellie West Hodges has a very special announcement that will dramatically impact local Bluffton business. You'll hear it first, right here on the Bluffton News. This week on the Bluffton News, we are excited to be the first to reveal a big step forward for Bluffton business. Shellie West Hodges, who usually does our business report, is wearing a different hat this week as she breaks this news. Shellie, it's all yours.
Thank you, Anneliza. Well, we are happy to announce that several small business owners in the area have grouped together and formed what is now the new Greater Bluffton Chamber and Convention and Visitors Bureau for the area of Bluffton. This is an exciting venture for all of us. This is a great thing for our community, and we look forward to people coming on board with us.
Well, what exactly is the Greater Bluffton Chamber of Commerce?
We're formed as a small business and to really support small businesses in the area and help promote local commerce and our community and really represent those business owners who really need a face in town and really need some exposure and really try to help promote each other through, some local marketing efforts.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Chamber's mission?
Well, basically our main mission is to represent small businesses and other businesses in the area, whether they're nonprofit, profit, community efforts, any kind of fundraising that we can get involved with. Really trying to give Bluffton the face that it needs as a small town, but which is encompassed by a greater area, and just really wanting to give people exposure and help promote local commerce.
Well, and how exactly can people find out more about the new chamber and all that it has to offer?
We have a website, and it's greaterblufftonchamberofcommerce.org that they can go to get more information. They can also contact me personally if they wish, and that's 843-368-5538 on my local number. We will have our Facebook and a number set this week. We're still working on preliminary organizational things that we're still tidying up, but a board has been formed and we are organized, and we are now taking applications.
Well, Shellie, this really is great news for Bluffton, and thanks for breaking the story with us here on WHHI.
Thank you, Anneliza. We really look forward to working with other organizations in the area.
Well, there is a lot going on in the Low Country this week, and Rodney Vaughn, our entertainment man in the know, will be here to help you get your fun on when we return with more Bluffton news. Tonight on the Bluffton News, Rodney Vaughn gives us all the latest info on what's fun in Bluffton in our Out and About report. Hey, Rodney, from what I hear, there's a ton of stuff happening in Bluffton this week. Let's start off with the Bluffton Bold Beer Bash.
There sure are, Anneliza. There's a lot of things going on. The Bluffton Bold Beer Bash is going to be held at Myrtle's Restaurant in Old Town Bluffton. This event is a craft beer sampling, and it's on Thursday, March the 15th from 7 to 10 p.m. The event will feature over 40 strong and international beer flavors.
Okay, and how much are tickets, and is there going to be anything there in addition to great beer?
Yes, there's going to be food and entertainment. Reeves Catering is providing food that will complement the beers, and the entertainment is provided by Neil and Bob. The admission is $45, and it's at advanced sales tickets. They're available at boldbeerbash.com.
I'll tell you, for drinking beer and having fun and listening to some music, that's a great ticket price. Now, I understand that you also have some info on the Arts Center fundraiser.
I do. The Arts Center is doing their spring fundraiser event, and it is a premiere of Driving Miss Daisy, which is their first event of the season. They're having a black tie cocktail reception at the Coastal Arts Center, and they're premiering this event with food. It's going to be a gourmet dinner that's catered and a live auction to raise money for outreach and education programs.
Now, how do we get all the information on this activity?
Well, this event is going to be March the 16th at 6:30, and you can go onto their website at artshhi.com or call 843-842 Arts. Tickets are $150 for the event.
All right. Now, the Hilton Head Wine and Food Festival swings into gear this week, right?
It certainly is. Like I said, lots of things are happening. The Wine Festival starts March the 5th through 10th with Great Chefs of the South wine dinners at local restaurants. March the 9th at 5:30 is the Great Tasting and Silent Auction at Harbortown. And March the 10th at 3 is the actual Wine Fest itself, and that's at the Coastal Discovery Museum in Honeyhorn.
Now, do you have the price tags for these events?
Certainly do. The wine dinners start at $59, and the Great Tasting is $65. The actual Wine Festival itself is only $45. Information is available at hiltonheadwineandfood.com.
Well, it's definitely a great week in Bluffton, a little something for everyone. Well, it's now time for you to meet Jasmine and Bella, two lovable goofballs. These Boxer Lab Retriever mixed cuties are sure to make you smile. Despite their size, they're convinced that they should be lap dogs. Relinquished by their owners, they are just 5 months old and simply adorable. Bella and Jasmine are crossing their paws that their next family or families will love and cherish them forever and always. For more information on Jasmine and Bella, contact Brooks Haven Animal Rescue at 25 Buck Island Road in Bluffton, or call 843-757-7387. Thanks for joining us for the news program that is all Bluffton all the time. I'm Anneliza Itkor for the Bluffton News. We'll see you next time.